friend, it's Julia. Today I want to take a few minutes to talk to you about some fun St. Patrick's Day themed writing activities that we can present to our children to help prepare them for forming letters and learning how to write. With a little bit of a St. Patrick's Day twist, because the holidays are approaching and that's a lot of fun. Now, one of the materials that we typically use to practice handwriting and to practice letter formation is a sand tray. This is a material that is often found in a Montessori classroom. A sand tray is just a tray that is filled with a small layer of sand. The child can take their index finger and then make a letter in the sand. They're practicing forming letters. Even though their hand might not be ready to write with a pen or a pencil, at that point, they're developing muscle memory. This means that their hand is learning how to form the letter, and this becomes internalized. They learn how to make the letter so that later, when they're using a pen, it will just come automatically. A pen or a pencil or a colored pencil or a crayon, all the writing utensils. So it doesn't really matter. Typically, in a Montessori classroom or setting, you would see first the child would take a sandpaper letter. They would trace the letter with 2 fingers, and then they would form the letter in the sand. This is all about preparing the child for writing later. If you don't have sandpaper letters, you can actually find something like this. It's a little book, and the letters in the book are also textured, so the child can practice tracing with this as well. And I have a tutorial on my blog for how to make sandpaper letters at home with a free printable. You can just go to my blog, welcometomommyhood.com, and search for sandpaper letters, and then you can find that tutorial. Now, eventually, after you have introduced the child to activities such as sandpaper letters a few times using the traditional methods, a simple sand tray with only a little layer of sand, and the sandpaper letters, you can start adding variations to continue to maintain that interest that the child has in learning writing in a fun way and keeping them engaged. So sometimes when there's a special holiday approaching or something exciting going on, I'll swap out our sand for something a little special, just to spark that interest, to make a little bit different, and to get them to practice a bit more. You don't have to do this, but it is a fun twist. So sometimes I will present additional cards for the children to practice. Forming letters. See, learning to read and write, it's a long process, and we need to provide exposure again and again and again, and to maintain that level of interest and avoid frustration, and simply just to change things up and try something new sometimes, it takes a lot of work. So sometimes it's fun to add something like this to change it up. These are guided letter printables that you can get for free on my blog. So again, just welcometomommyhood.com, and you can grab your own set. And we can use these cards to practice forming letters in a lot of ways. So one of the ways that I will do it is traditionally with a sand tray. But this time, instead of just using sand, I did something different. This is quinoa. I colored it gold with a little bit of paint. All I did was put it in a plastic Ziploc bag. I added a couple squirts of gold paint, and then now we have gold quinoa. It's perfect for St. Patrick's Day or any other type of tray that you would like to use gold quinoa for. I added some materials, some manipulatives. These are gold coins and some clovers for a little theme. Now, underneath the quinoa, I added a piece of green paper. And it's very important that when you're presenting your sand trays not to overfill the tray, because that will make it difficult for the child to see the letter that they're forming. Then I present this material alongside cards like this. This is a little bit trickier than using the sandpaper letters beforehand, because the child doesn't touch the textured sandpaper letter. Instead, all they have is this for a visual clue, but not a sensorial clue. Then they have to form the letter in the sand, or the quinoa, or whatever material you're using in your tray. This is for a more advanced learner. But it's still an interesting way to test their knowledge, to keep the child engaged, and to have them practice. Because practice and repetition and muscle memory, it all takes time. Another idea for using a material like this is to laminate the cards. Anyway, if you're in a classroom, you're probably going to be laminating them to make sure that they stay good quality and in good condition. After we laminate them, then you can present them to the child alongside some Play-Doh. This is beautiful teal Play-Doh, and it smells delicious. So it is a very calming, soothing activity. So if a child is having kind of a rough day or is getting frustrated with letters, you could try to provide them some Play-Doh, rolling it out, smelling. If you have some scented Play-Doh, like this one is, it smells delicious. It's cotton candy. Oh, it smells so soothing, and it's so calming, and it can relax the child and take away some of that stress and the pressure that may come from a certain activity that is difficult for them. If you present it with a different material, it might no longer be difficult, and it might spark that interest and spark that engagement. It's all about practice and testing and adjusting our activities to make sure that the child is learning in a way that they like, in a way that works for them. Another way that we have used this material is to provide some small manipulatives that the child can place on the line. You can see how placing manipulatives on here, on the line, the child must take it like this. Take the small manipulative, which is a fine motor skill. This is working their pincer grasp, and that's very important in order to properly hold a pencil. So before we even provide a writing tool, we're developing those skills. It all builds up. But if you do have a more advanced learner, or if you have children at different levels of learning, you can provide a pencil or colored pencils or markers or dry erase markers for them to actually practice writing the lines. You could even provide different colors, and then they can use rainbow writing. Rainbow writing is just another way to say that they're coloring in the letters, but they're by forming it over and over and over again in different colors. So then it looks like a rainbow, which is fun and cute. So those are just a few ideas that you can use this St. Patrick's Day to create some different learning activities with just one freebie. Now, this printable actually comes with all of the letters, so they're working on capital and lowercase, and it comes in black and white too. So this variation here, I just printed it on colored construction paper, and it's still kind of cute and fun and exciting for the holidays, but you save that ink, because we all know that printing a bunch of printables, the ink gets costly, so this is just a little tip to save a little bit of money, and it's still fun and inviting. And in the same set of printables, again, totally free, you get numbers. So your child can also practice number formation. These are all really important skills, and this is just my little twist of changing things up, sparking that excitement, and working on writing. Writing is a long process. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be something that kiddos learn in one day, and we're going to be practicing and talking about it for a while. But it also doesn't have to be stressful. It can be fun and engaging and exciting, and we want to just make sure that our little learners are having fun and they're excited for it, that they develop a passion for learning. That's what it's all about. I hope you like my printables and the activity ideas. Let me know, how do you practice handwriting? How do you practice teaching children how to properly form letters? Do you use sand trays? I look forward to hearing your answers, and let me know what you think. Have a great day, friends. Bye.